Alright, so it's the first of the month. This video has been requested many a time, so I thought let's go ahead and do it, and let's get a room update, collection update, see where things have gone. Things have changed. As you can tell, you haven't seen this in a video yet. So let's get into it and let's see what's going on in the reptile room now. Okay, so the lighting isn't great with the big sliding glass door back there, but just to give you a quick idea of what's going on over here, this is those cages you guys seen me bring in, and technically there's only one snake left. It's living in here because the others I have moved down to here. I actually probably gonna remove this, change it, but anyways, that's where it's at for now. One snake in there, that's the scaleless. I will get him out in a minute and show you, but down here is a snake you guys really haven't seen. And this snake here belongs to my daughter, and so I moved it in here, and you can kind of see him right there. He is a corn snake hiding there underneath the foliage. Oh, there he is, he's peeking out at us. Again, we'll get these guys out here in a minute. We're just gonna kind of span the room so you can see what's going on. Here is those tree frogs that I was gifted. Doing quite well. I changed their setup. The last time you seen them, they were in a critter keeper. So now I have a planted 10-gallon aquarium for these guys to chill in, and you can see him, one of them right there. Again, I have two of them, but you know, that's just the general look. And of course we have my messy desk, you know, all my stuff, and we swing back around behind the desk. Let the lighting focus. This is, you've seen this at the old house, but you didn't see it here. This is something I've moved in, and this is my day geckos. And I don't remember if I did a full video on it, but I do now have 3 adult female day geckos, so they each have their own compartment, their own little condo, if you will. We got one of the big girls right up here. And then I only have one male right now. He is the father to the babies that you've seen me hatch on the channel, and he's in this enclosure. Now, he's gonna stay in here, and I've got this female here, looking pretty good. Now she just is, you know, the green color with just a little bit of red. Let's see, we can't get a better look at her without the glass. Yeah, she's in the shadow. But so anyways, so all 3 females are unrelated to the babies that I'll show you in a minute, but all babies are related except for one to this dad here. Now the female that's in this middle condo, which we won't be able to see, she's very skittish. She only really comes out when she knows I'm feeding, and but then, you know, she's in hiding a lot. She is a nice blue color, not the expensive blues that you see in day geckos, but definitely a good stepping stone for that blue color eventually. So I would like to eventually find a nice blue male to put in here with her. And then in here we have the 3rd day gecko, and what I like about her, first of all, she's probably the boldest of them all, and she has a lot and lots of red. Not exactly to a level that I would exactly say crimson, but you know, she definitely is a good candidate to be put into that, work with that kind of bloodline, the crimsons, the high reds. I'm not sure why this plant is struggling. This plant they were planted at the same time for whatever reason. This one just has not. I mean, it's been probably 2 months since they've been in there, and that plant is just always looking like that, whereas this one, you know, we're getting some new foliage and everything, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. So hopefully it springs back. It almost looks like it has a shoot coming down from below. But anyway, so that is the day gecko condos. And then below them is some work in progress. These are empty, but my leopard geckos are going to go down here. And I'll show you those in a minute because, well, they're actually right down there for now. You can see him. Of course, he's expecting food because, well, why not? But let's pan back over here to this corner for a moment. Let's go up here. This is simply just a planted tank. Originally, this pair that is in here, they were up here. They kind of destroyed it a bit. This plant really took a beating. There was more branches. I took the branches out. Not 100% sure what I want to do with this aquarium, but I'm thinking some of the smaller day geckos, like either peacocks or gold dust or something to that effect, is what I'm hoping for, kind of planning for. And then this is an empty tank that I'm working on, and you see we got Groot there. I do actually have the animal that's eventually going to go in here, but that animal is not ready yet. I like to kind of set them up in a simple quarantine cage before I put them in something that's planted, because this is going to be planted. And then below them is the legless lizard. This is his setup, and he was out. Yeah, you can see him a little bit there hiding underneath that log. See if we can't get a better angle. Yeah, there he is. Just chilling. Doing pretty good. I do like the way his setup looks. And beside him, here on the end, we'll have to swing around. And this is the baby day gecko setup. There is a video on me setting this up. You can see it's quite well grown in. And some of these babies in here are going to be removed. That is the reasoning for these empty ones. I'm going to plant these, build these out, and these will be holding cages or grow out cages for some of these babies until either one, I choose to keep them, and maybe I get a nice red male that I can put with her, because they would be unrelated, but the bloodline would be related to the male in there. But so if I get a nice red one, red male, I might put him in there. So kind of just waiting to see how they develop. But you can see how grown in this cage has become. It does need a little bit of sprucing. Now these guys have all ran for cover. We did get to see that one up front. If I were to put food in here, they would quickly come out just long enough to grab food, and then they disappear back into the foliage. So I'll insert more clips as I get them. I did kind of see one right back there. Two of them actually hiding back there. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Oh, I forgot this guy. So this is the overgrown enclosure for my yellow green tree python. It's hard to actually get a good shot of her. There she is. You can see her. So her cage is getting quite overgrown, and I have got an upgrade coming up real soon for her. So stay tuned for that. And I'll just kind of give you a sneak peek, but we have to go out to the garage first, and hopefully this battery doesn't die. Here is what I'm working on. I've talked about this in previous videos. Cardboard out of the way. But this is where I'm at so far with the progression of that. I got to cut this board up here to fit the top, because I have got this up here, this panel. One of these panels, that's what I'm going to use to heat this. It's going to be on the one side. It has a probe. It'll be on a thermostat, and I'll plant this, paint this. We got lots of work to do on this, but that will be a future video. But that is her future setup. That's 36 inches long. I think it's 16 inches deep and 24, maybe it's 18 deep, 24 tall, something like that. So good enclosure. The only thing eventually I would have to, once she's full grown, is to redo the piping. But this will do good for right now. So let's go back in here, and Well, first I'll have to change battery, then we'll get back into the room tour. Okay, so now that you got a general look at the layout of the reptile room, now I'm going to get out some individual animals, give you an update on what, how they're doing, and for those of you who are new to the channel, first hit subscribe and follow along, and I'll kind of go into a little bit of an explanation of who I have with me, and just a little bit of history on them. So up first is going to be this beautiful scaleless Texas rat snake. Now I've had this guy for, I don't even know how long, maybe 4 or 5 years. Had him since he was a little hatchling. When I first heard of the scaleless stuff, I really wasn't, too keen on it. I thought, this wasn't something that, we should probably be playing around with as far as the genetics are concerned. But I did ultimately pick one up. And that is because, if those of you who are familiar with the channel will already know that sometimes I do educational programs. I go to different locations, libraries, preschools, churches, wherever there's a young kids function, and they want someone to do a live animal presentation, and that's what I do. Of course, mine is an all reptile themed presentation. But so anyways, I picked this guy up because, well, I mean, the novelty of it, even in the hobby, we're starting to see them more, but people in general public, they're not going to see this. So I picked one up as a hatchling and raised it up. That way I can be certain, that his disposition was going to be something that was to be able to handle being in public and whatnot. So as you can see, he is quite manageable. Just kind of a curious snake. He's not skittish. He's not flighty. He's not bitey. He's he's a good, well-rounded individual, aren't you, dude? So that's how I came across him. And since having him and seeing how these guys act, I mean, honestly, he acts, and everything about him is exactly as I would expect from a snake that does have scales. So it's kind of changed my opinion. I don't think that it's completely harmful to keep reproducing this genetic in the hobby, and obviously, which they should never be released anyways. But I mean, obviously, to a wild population, this is probably not good. But we are not dealing with wild animals, or hopefully these are captive bred stuff. So in captivity, the animal's going to do just fine. So anyways, that is one of a handful of snakes that I do have. So let's move on to the next animal. Right, dude? Yeah, he likes his chin rubbed. Can you see that? Yeah, he like a good chin rubbing. Yeah. Who doesn't like a good chin rubbing? Okay, so another snake I have in my collection is this little beautiful tessera, a male corn snake. If it focuses on her and not me. Very, very beautiful snake. I really like the high white colors with the red. We've got some nice highlighted yellow or orange colors coming through. You get on in there. There's this little corn snake. So these are things I've worked with a great deal when I used to breed heavily. Breed corn snakes, or when I breed reptiles, this is what I was breeding quite heavily. I was in corn snakes quite a bit. But she is definitely one of my favorites. Excuse me. Maybe someday I would probably. I have gotten into the Miami projects before, but I've seen some really nice striped Miami corn snakes. I think she would make a good cross between her and a nice striped Miami corn snake. But for now, I'm just content with having her as just a pet, as a not necessarily having to breed them, just keeping them for what they are, and being fascinated by just having her, and not really the pursuit of always having to create babies and create morphs, and you know, just nice to slow it down and just appreciate the animal that you have right now. So that is her, and she's a little bit more squirmier than the Texas rat, but still very, you know, handled quite a bit. These make good first time pets. Once they get to about this size, I say that's when they become really a good first time pet, because to get to this size, obviously they're eating pretty good. You don't have to worry about, not that it's a huge problem with corn snakes on refusing to eat, but it's easier to get the appropriate sized food for them once they start hitting this size and bigger. So, which feeding will be a different video. So let's go ahead and put her back, and let's move on to the next. Okay, so this is a rare treat, even for me, being with this guy all the time. He doesn't normally come out of hiding too frequently. So let it focus on him. And of course, this is my legless lizard, Lieutenant Dan. So, you know, these guys are quite interesting. Of course, a lot of times, this is another one of those animals I picked up because they are different. And when it comes to, you know, trying to teach kids about reptiles and stuff, sometimes you need something to just really grab their attention. So when I bring this out, they see this animal, they think snake. I say, nope, not a snake. He is a legless lizard. And so that's pretty fun to, you know, hear their reactions to that. One thing about these guys is they don't, or at least this one doesn't bite, but what he often does is I call the an alligator roll. He likes to twist and turn, and you know, just like a crocodile death roll. So when so I'm not holding him, because they can lose their tail, which is about 2/3 their body. So that's not something you want to have happen. So I don't really hold on to him, and when he does go into his, sorry buddy, when he does go into his death rolls, I just kind of leave him be. Let him just roll it on out. So he's not too happy about being handled, so we're going to go ahead and put him back, and we'll move on to the next animal. But I was happy that at least we could get him out for a short bit anyways, to show him here on camera, because most times he just prefers to hide. Okay, so here is my albino Honduran milk snake. And it looks like he just shed, so we'll have to get that out here after a bit. Focus in on him. The lighting ain't that great, but hey there, fella. A pretty snake. I love how bright and vivid his colors are. And below him is my Cal King, which is poking his nose out. Let's see if we can't get him to show himself. There we go. Focus. And then below him is the baby. Here we can see it. Let it focus. So that's the super pastel cinnamon. Not happy, obviously. Focus, there we go. Super cinnamon female pastel ball python. Just a youngster. Next down here we have the sinaloan milk snake, who looks like he has recently shed. So, a bit focus. So here is my leopard gecko. Don't run away. Looking pretty cool. I really like him. He's got a lot of personality, but he's also got some spunk to him. So That is my leopard gecko. Okay, so over here is the big snakes. We got the rack there with all the smaller stuff. Here is my larger snakes. We're gonna start off with this big guy right here. And of course this is my northern pine snake. I really like the colors on this guy. He's pretty fun to work with. If he doesn't like what's going on, he kind of is very vocal about his displeasures, but he seems to be alright. He isn't saying anything for us today, but you've seen him in past videos get a little vocal, but pretty good sized snake. He's got to be probably 4.5 foot, somewhere around there. He's eating large rats, so very beautiful snake. I love the way he's turning out. And up at the top here is my smallest of boas. And of course that is this motley girl right here. She is a motley boa. I like the full stripe she's got down there on her tail and up about the third of her body. But a pretty good sized snake. 2.5 feet probably, as I'd say. So that's one of 2 boas that I have. And if I can hurry up and get this next one before this battery dies. She has made a mess. She's made a mess in her cage. She's tipped the water dish, so she is dirty. She's a dirty girl. But this is the biggest boa that I have, and of course she is a Sunglow boa, and she is somewhere around 5 foot long, eating jumbo rats about every other week to every third week. Very friendly, very. Okay, so the battery died in my camera. It's all the batteries are dead. I've got one charging down there. You can see it's still on red. Still hasn't fully charged. So I'm gonna finish this video out on my phone. I had to go out and get the kids from the bus stop. And so let's go ahead and just kind of finish this video out. So that's the animals I have. If you're a long-time subscriber, you know that there is lots of animals that you didn't see. And that's simply because I simply rehomed a lot of them. The albino, cow king, the carpet python, the jungle carpet python, the one male boa. Let's see. Oh, so I only got 3 spiders. The pink toad, I'm not sure what happened with that little fella. Always was doing just fine. I'd feed it, and then just so happened one day, I know he was always very good about getting his crickets, like boom, right away. And I noticed a couple days later the cricket was still alive in the enclosure, and when I spun it around and shined a light, because you know he had a funnel web created back behind that piece, so it's hard to see him actually. But I shined a light in there, and he was just, you know, all curled up. So I'm not sure what happened. The geckos are out. I gotta get feed or crickets for them yet, and then hopefully I'll throw some feeding clips in this video, which by now you would already have seen them. But the legless lizard, he is also going to be leaving tomorrow. Yeah, it's tough. I just need to reduce a little bit more stuff that are heavily dependent on crickets. It's harder for me to get crickets in the wintertime, and you know, the day geckos I can substitute crickets, but they also eat commercial diet like this. So we have that, and I kind of want to I guess the bigger picture of why I reduced some of the animals that I have is because I want to do more of this stuff. I know he's actually in a bio setup, but he will actually eventually outgrow this. And most people keep adult legless in tubs. And I'm trying to get away from that. I want animals, I want to deal with smaller animals that I can put in, get this right, put in bio setups. That has always been my draw to the hobby. That's what initially got me into the hobby, was, you know, making stuff like that. And I just want to get back to doing that. To me, this is much more appealing to have this, to walk in this room and see all this beautiful caging, as opposed to walking in and seeing racks and stacks of racks, or stacks of tubs and racks. That's a Dr. Seuss book, I think. But anyway, so, you know, those snakes that are in there, those animals are beautiful animals. But look, I mean, you know, what's there to admire about that? But I come over here and, you know, I see a beautiful day gecko, and she was out. You've seen footage of her, and she's out. I'm working on getting her to eat from tongs. She eats from tongs. The male, he's hiding again. This one's hiding, but eventually they'll eat. I'll get them accustomed to eating from tongs. But anyways, that is, you know, that's the reptile room. You guys wanted an update. That's an update. Of course, if I missed anything, you have questions, comments, feel free, leave them down below in the comments. I tried to answer everything, although here lately I've been kind of slacking. But I'll get back on it. Winter's coming, things will slow down. I won't be traveling near as much, so that will help keep me home, keep me able to do more videos. I want to build out these cages. That green tree python cage will get done here real soon. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video, and I thank you for watching. And if you're watched till this point and you are not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload videos, and we will be doing more stuff like this in the future. So till next time, later.
Shut up and sit down.